Everyone keeps, in my opinion, seems to look at, oh, the interest rates have come down, so therefore I'll be in a better position. But that's not really true, is it?
Absolutely not. Everyone's so fixated on the 0.25%, they actually, I guess, they lose the bigger picture, you know. Having, for example, your mortgage reduced by 100 a month, but the business actually needs an additional 5,000 a month to keep going. I think people get so fixated that interest rates are going to go down, we'll have some leeway, but actually it doesn't make much of a difference. Um,
It's fascinating,
yeah,
right? Because the 0.25 is only about big asset or secured debt, isn't it? So it's your mortgage,
correct.
not the rest of your loans.
Correct.
The rest of your loans don't come down because the Reserve Bank has reduced your interest rates by 0.25%. It doesn't change what your commercial debt is or your personal debt on that front. And a big part of what you do and your team does is actually help people find a way through that.
Absolutely. So I'll give you an example. Recently we had a director approach us. He was hit with a DPN. Okay. He did have a very good accountant that was actually organising a stable arrangement with the ATO. I'd like to just stress that. Do not ignore any notices. What ends up happening now is you might have your mortgage and you're paying that beautifully. Interest rates have gone down. However, as a director linked to a business, you might be behind or whatever with your ATO debt, whether it's your BAS or your super contributions. Your accountants failed to lodge, from 2 years back. The ATO are actually cracking down now, and a lot of directors I know are actually being hit up with a director penalty notice advising them that they've got X amount outstanding that needs to be paid to prevent being default listed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, great that you're saving 200 now or 300 or 150 with the interest rate going down. It still doesn't negate the fact that you owe this money. So what I do is I work with a number of brokers in this space, as well as my partners in this space, to actually find a financial solution to actually help you pay this ATO debt and give you some cash flow relief so you can actually run the business without this panic. um, do not ignore notices, and a lot of people do, and then it leads to enforcement and legal action. So let's work on solutions. Prevention's better than cure, right? So if we can come up with solutions while your company's helping to get cash flow in with the debt, let's not ignore what we can do financially to help actually move forward as well. It's two parts to this.
And it's really interesting you talk about that way because what we know is traditional financiers aren't interested in helping you with your ATO debt. What they're interested in is consolidating all of your debt around bits and pieces. So the complication is for so many people is that they're actually talking to people about financing their ATO debt, which is a big no-no as far as the banks and financiers, the major banks and financiers is. What you're trying to do is restructure everything that they've got along the way so that they can consolidate it and create a manageable plan to deliver that outcome.
Yes. Now, with that being said, a lot of people don't understand what a small business restructure is. Okay. I have a number of insolvency firms and accountants, Hall Chadwick being one of them. We met at the last event they held. Um, they're brilliant in that space. So if, once I go through everything and the solution is actually maybe a small business restructure, they will be then given to a trusted, reputable company to complete certain actions. Okay. Now, a part of that might be a finance element, and that's where I would actually obtain finance by bespoke lenders to then help the likes of Hall Chadwick or their accountant really get this all wrapped up and completed. But in this financial space, a lot of people don't even know where they can turn. So they end up in, either burying their heads in the sand. they end up going to a major bank who 9 times out of 10 will be declining them. Or they end up thinking, okay, the best way to do this is let's refinance the entire mortgage. But what they don't realise is by doing that, they're potentially going to be hit with a higher interest rate than the general public. So, look, there's loads of solutions and options. I guess it's just guiding people to the right companies and not a dodgy one that promises the world and delivers nothing.
And I think you've nailed that, because you're talking specifically about. Sorry, I'm looking at my hand as I'm tapping it on the table. The giggle here is what we tend to do when debt becomes great and it's problematic, and people don't really want to talk to us about the things that are causing us stress today. Like, I can't maintain my builder's license, I can't maintain my professional services license, whatever it happens to be, if I don't resolve this bit. So we try and think of them in isolation, when what we really should be doing is going, hey, let's look at our entire circumstances and review everything from A to B in order to understand what options are actually available to us.